All right, so a lot of videos out there will talk about the best upgrades to get for your Jeep, the best mods, yada, 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 you know. And I feel like the throwaways are the first two always, because it's always like lift and tires, you know, like everyone says that, at least it seems like that. And maybe because that is kind of a given. So let's just throw that aside. I'm gonna say on your Gladiator specifically, what are the first 3 mods you should get? I'm gonna go based off my experience. So my number 1 is probably the rock sliders, for sure. Getting those rock sliders on there, I felt way more secure. I felt more safe. I felt more, not safe in the sense of like safety in my body, but like to the body of the Jeep, because there's so many times, well, I would say I didn't do a hard trail until I got my sliders, because I knew I would need them. I got the weld-on sliders, which again, I highly recommend compared to the bolt-on. Definitely gonna be a lot more expensive because you got to pay a shop to do it, unless you guys are skilled enough. I'm not. But I got them welded on. I did the Motobilt ones because I've seen other videos and guys like where they'll bend up their bolt-on sliders, and you think it's just bending the slider, but it's actually bending into the frame of your Jeep, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. So definitely the sliders, because again, you're gonna be able to go over, even hit rocks on the side, going over anything, like it's just gonna hit that first. Second one, I would say, goes kind of hand in hand with that, and I would say it's the belly pan, the skid plate, the whole underbelly skid plate. I got Metalcloak, you know, Motobilt's got a good one, Artec's got one, I'm sure some other companies have some good ones too. I went with Metalcloak mainly because it was steel. I didn't really make the decision based on price, because aluminum ones are definitely more expensive, but building this Jeep, I'm trying not to do it based on price, because I'm just saying, look, I'm gonna do what is absolutely the best for my Jeep, and if that means taking longer to save up, then so be it. That's what I'm gonna do. Obviously, some people do, you know, price is a factor, but in this decision, I picked steel just because I've heard, and again, I don't have any actual experience with aluminum, but I've heard that aluminum, and this kind of makes sense, is that as a softer metal, it can kind of dig into the rocks a little bit. You get a little bit more gouges on your sliders, rather than the steel can just slide right off. And I've experienced that, like it actually does a very good job of just sliding off. I would say this is added peace of mind, just like the sliders. You know, I'm not worried about hitting rocks, and then same thing, the belly pan, going over obstacles and hitting rocks on my belly. I just feel totally safe right there. So those 2 things, by far, I'd go 1 and 2, and you could do either order, whichever, depends on what kind of wheeling you guys are doing. I'd argue that even do those before lift and tires, honestly. The third thing I would say is the steel bumper in the rear and front. But if we're talking about just one upgrade, let's consider that just one, would be the rear bumper, because all the time I'm hitting the rear bumper, and if you had a plastic one, I mean, you're gonna bend the crap out of that. So I just have the stock steel rear bumper, but I'm actually, and I would kind of like amend this, and I'd say a high clearance rear steel bumper, if you want to do like serious off-roading. I know Savvy's got a really good one, and then Motobilt has been teasing one for a while. That's why I'm holding out. Otherwise I'd have Savvy. Nothing against Savvy, they have really good stuff. I just have Motobilt everything else, and I want to keep it all consistent. So when that comes out, I'll actually probably make a video about it, just to show the difference between the two. But I would say a high clearance rear bumper is going to be your third best upgrade. And for all 3 of these, with the Gladiator, I would almost, if you have a Rubicon, I would say that these 3 actually are probably more important than a lift and tires. Because lift and tires are great, but the Rubicon itself, stock, is very capable. This is going to be like your insurance policy. This is going to keep your body damage. This is going to keep your underbelly from damage, your rear bumper from damage. That to me is like more important than a little bit better flex and ground clearance. You can always get that. Like if you just get a Gladiator, wait till your tires wear down and you need a new set, and then get 35s. And a lot of people can run those without a lift, honestly. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear what you guys think about the topic. Honorable mention, I guess, would be a front bumper with a winch, but that also kind of depends on where you guys are wheeling. Here in Arizona, I've only used the winch for other people. I've never needed it for myself. But if you're in somewhere that's like, I think back in Oregon or something, or even just more muddy terrains where you're probably going to want a winch to get, if you get stuck, that one would be an honorable mention as well. So consider that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like the video. That helps me out a ton, helps us grow. And subscribe for more. If you guys got any more topics or questions about any of these things, shoot them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them. See you.